the big story at this hour. At least 4 prominent Twitter handles hacked in just the last few days. Of them, 3 are actually government Twitter handles. Hackers have posted threads of irrelevant tweets. The official Twitter account of the University Grants Commission was hacked in the early hours of this morning. Along with changing the display picture and background of UGC India's Twitter handle, the hacker made a series of tweets one after another, tagging hundreds of Twitter users. So this actually is the 3rd prominent Twitter account that's been hacked in the last 2 days, including the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister's office, if we can get that up on our screens as well. That was hacked, as was the Twitter handle of the Indian Meteorological Department, the Met Department. Now, a case has been registered in this regard against unknown persons under the relevant sections of the IT Act in Lucknow for the UP Chief Minister's CMO office Twitter handle. The matter is going to be probed also by a team of experts from the DGP's office. The UP government says the strictest action is going to be taken against those responsible, and that case is being investigated by cyber experts. It wasn't just the Uttar Pradesh government handle. The Aam Aadmi Party's UP unit, their Twitter account has also been hacked, and a series of what appear to be irrelevant tweets and a thread posted there as well. All right. Let's actually take you across to panelists joining us at this point with the latest on that. We're being joined by Jitin Jain, Director of Voyager InfoSec, someone who's been looking at hacking issues for some time now. We're also being joined by Pramea Radhakrishna, co-founder and CEO of Coup. Many Twitter users now sort of migrating to the Coup site as well. Pawan Duggal, cyber law expert and advocate in the Supreme Court, is with us, as is Apurva Agarwal, founder of Universal Legal. Jitin Jain, a quick word from you first. Do you see a pattern to all of this? At least 3 government handles, one of an opposition party, which has been doing rather well in elections lately. Do you see a sort of pattern in any of this? Jitin, I'll ask you to unmute yourself, please. No, we still can't hear you, actually. I'm going to... We'll let you fix that. The same question, if I can, to Apurva Agarwal.
Yes, there is certainly a pattern we see, especially in basically foreign social media websites and accounts, where these accounts are totally unverified and have no way of verifying who the actual user is. So these are eminently easy to hack because the data is easily available and you can preempt it and you cannot take any action because you don't have the verification of these guys behind them. The biggest disadvantage of such thing is there's a lot of data privacy being hacked and a lot of information which gets out in the wrong hands, which can lead to commotion in the later part of the year.
Pawan Duggal is also with us. Pawan Duggal, what does this mean legally, really? What sort of offences would such hackers be charged under? Is there enough sort of legal recourse that Twitter users have in situations like this?
I don't think Twitter users have any effective legal remedy in a scenario like this. The reason for this is that most of these are transnational crimes. Most of these are not specifically coverable under your existing law. And assuming they are coverable under Section 66 of the IT Act, they still don't get you any effective remedy because the important issue is attributing a particular cyber actor to a particular cyber action of theirs which is criminal in nature. Now, for that, all information may still be with service providers like Twitter. But the fact is, today, these cyber criminals are becoming very intelligent. They are using these virtual private networks and other anonymizers for the purposes of going ahead and obliterating their footprints. So I believe that while on paper it may look that we may have effective remedy, in ground reality, the fact is that these kinds of cyber attacks are going to be constantly on the rise And we have to be prepared for a new kind of a world that we are going to live in.
Aprameya Radhakrishna, we've seen Co sort of occupy quite a bit of the space that Twitter has had in the past. Would you say Co is kind of safe from attacks like this or, hacks like this? And really, what sort of, as a platform, what do you owe to users? Surely, this shouldn't keep happening at such an alarming rate.
Yeah, so to your first question, we've spent a lot of time, just making sure that Co is extremely secure and making sure that users get the confidence of coming and using our platform. And our intent is very clear. So we take India seriously. We want to make Indians feel safe about using the platform Co. And we want to make sure that, whether it's people from the government, extremely important celebrities, political leaders. So all of these people are trusting us with extremely important role, which is, allowing them to freely, transparently communicate to their followers.
Right.
And it is our role as a platform to enable that without any problem. Now, if we allow for somebody to hack the platform and miscommunicate or show the creator or the celebrity or the political leader in a bad light, that is just unacceptable, right? So if you look at it, the seriousness with which foreign social media actually takes a country of 1.4 billion people, it doesn't seem like it's being taken seriously. There have been hack attempts last year. There have been hack attempts this year. Altogether, very important handles. And yet, there is no assurance on how this will be prevented from any of the foreign social media. And that is very important. A statement of how it will be prevented and why India should continue using foreign social media when they don't take India as a country seriously enough is
unfortunately, it's a little sort of, unfair at best to have this on without a Twitter representative. But Jitin, what do you make of this point? 3 government Twitter handles hacked in the last 2 days, one of an opposition party. Would you say this is indicative of repeated sort of security breaches, and is Twitter falling short somewhere?
So it's very clear, right? In the public,
we'll just come back to we'll just come back to you. Let Jitin Jain go ahead. Yeah.
Of course, there is a pattern, and there is a clear emerging pattern in last 3 years, and it is a global pattern. If you look at incidents of last 3 years, the celebrity accounts globally across the world have been compromised. Barack Obama, Narendra Modi. Within last 3 months, I think several of government ministry handles were compromised. I tweeted out few, like Ministry of Urban Rural Development, it was compromised.
Right.
And if you see, there is a pattern. Most of the accounts, these verified handles which are compromised, these hackers suddenly start posting links to Bitcoin scams and NFT sales. That, today I'm distributing 50 Bitcoins. Whoever pays me 0.25 Bitcoin, I'll give you 0.5 Bitcoin. And many people have been falling for it. So this has been happening from last 3 years. In last 7 to 8 months, there is a change in the pattern. Whichever verified handle gets compromised, their display pic is changed to Elon Musk. The name is changed to Elon Musk. Elon with some spelling mistakes or typo characters here and there.
Right.
Because Elon has been great supporter and vocal propagator of cryptocurrencies. So people think that if you impersonate him, that too with a verified handle, and say that Bitcoin is going to rise or Dogecoin is going to rise, but people are falling for the scams. So if you look at the incident of a couple of months back where Ministry of Rural Development was compromised, the photo was changed to Elon Musk, and again it was running the Bitcoin scam. The current handles which are compromised, I'm told one of them were talking about NFT sales, which is a new crypto scam in making.
Right.
So
fair enough. Without going into sort of all of these details, what is the sort of broader takeaway?
So there is a bigger problem. Everybody thought that these are individual users which are getting compromised, and Twitter as a platform was safe. But a couple of years ago, we also got to know that Twitter admitted that their internal dashboard itself was compromised because people were able to bribe a couple of Twitter employees and get access to internal credentials and reset passwords. So I think, and Twitter was supposed to come up with a white paper investigation report, which is in last 2 years still have not come. So I think Twitter also has a lot to answer. And we as a users, I think, why don't we enable two-factor authentication? How can you imagine that such celebrities, such government handlers have been falling for phishing and hacks, and they did not have two-factor security, which is available free of cost? So I think everybody is to blame. We can deal with our own safety, but Twitter should not also have a free hand, and they also have a lot to answer and come up with that white paper report, what is happening actually in this series of accounts which have been getting compromised every month.
Aprameya Radhakrishna, your quick thoughts on this?
Yeah, so this is what is visible, right? Like if a hacker can get access easily to delete tweets and say whatever they want to, now this is visible. What about the invisible stuff? Now, how does one trust their algorithms or the number of likes, the number of followers, when they have explicitly come out and said there are good bots, bad bots, 100 other bots? Now, how do we even trust the emotions that are being generated out of a platform which has no control over what is being posted or not? Right? So I have deeper questions now that, I run a microblogging platform. I know how serious you have to take each and every aspect of building this, and to make sure genuine voices are there. We just released a self-verification, process just to make sure that people who are genuine can actually come out and say they're genuine. Now, all of these measures are very important. If, visible things can be hacked, the invisible things which nobody sees, and I'm sure if Twitter is not responding to something that has been visibly hacked, the invisible things that are being hacked, obviously nobody knows. Right. So I wouldn't trust a platform which, cannot even come and say how they will prevent this from going on in the future. And, Elon Musk just tweeted a few hours ago saying, should we convert the Twitter headquarters into a, homeless shelter because nobody comes to office. Right. And here
that really is neither here nor there as far as safety hacks or Twitter hacks go. But in any case, okay, quick last words, Pawan Duggal. In terms of sort of the broader legal framework, is there anything more that really can be done in terms of legislation that could make things sort of safer, perhaps, for users?
I think there's a lot of homework that the Indian government needs to do. The first biggest priority is to going ahead and amending the Indian Information Technology Act 2000, which is India's mother legislation for everything digital and for all cyber crimes. And the fact that we have not yet been able to amend this law for the last 14 years is itself a single testimony to the fact that we need to be working along with the times. Let's make the coverage of cyber crimes more exhaustive. Let's come up with a deterrence message for punishment for all cyber criminals. And ultimately, let's create more culture of cyber security, a culture of cyber resilience amongst users, so that if they can be safe in the first instance, that can go a long way, ultimately, in fighting the entire issue of growing phenomenon of cyber crimes.
Right. Thanks very much for that. A quick reaction coming in now from the chief spokesperson of the AAP in Uttar Pradesh. Their Twitter account has also been hacked. Vaibhav Maheshwari is with us. You are confirming then this hack and what's being done right now, Vaibhav?
Yeah, we got to know that our account has been hacked, and we suspect that this leak, some major data theft has happened from Twitter or Gmail, and because these two things make an account. We usually use a Gmail account to create account, Twitter account, and some major theft has happened. Team is on the job, but there is definitely it's troublesome. We must think there is some major security loophole from Twitter end or Gmail end. We are on job. Let's have maybe we handle it within next couple of hours.
All right. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you all for joining us on this discussion.